Okay, hey, welcome to the KYCAPM show, folks. As we have always said before, gather the kids, gather the dog, get grandma together, put them in another room. It's time for the show you really didn't want, but you're forced to listen to anyway. It's the Mulligan. I almost said McLaughlin Group.
Yes, you did.
It's the Mulligan Group here on KYCA, and it is a special Election Day edition just because it just happened to fall on the right day. So,
Is this Election Day?
believe it or not, I think it is.
I saw a man on the street interviews last night on the Phoenix news station, and they were asking people, and the guy says, where? I didn't know. I hadn't heard. Is there an election? They did a whole bunch of them.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Maricopa County, that's a good thing.
All right.
It's the heat.
And the group continues, folks. If you're keeping score at home, you're going to want to today because we have the peerless prognosticator and the remainder of the has-beens here around the table. That's right, folks. They have a new name. Charlie Arnold came in, graced us with his presence earlier, and said, hey, it's the has-been hour. Okay, well, Charlie, you're a big help, and now you have been relegated to third string on the honorary chair in the group. So
I still prefer Jason and the naysayers.
I do, too.
I really think, we should get together and play and get the band going.
Get the band back together. That's what we need to do. All right.
Reunion tour.
To those of you who are new to this, I can't believe you're still with us, but since you are, today we're going to have a prediction show in terms of the election. We're going to talk about the election itself. Nothing else really of import is happening or anything in the past month. You know what? I don't think I've caught my breath in the last month, to be honest.
Believe it.
All right, around the table we go. Mr. Bob Roecker, former Prescott City Councilman and naysayer himself.
That's true.
You're up next week. Who's on?
I am. I'm going to do a series of small business owners over the next 2 or 3 months, and I'm going to start with a gentleman named Christopher Vaughn who owns Salty's American Barbershop.
Okay.
Should be an interesting
Just what you
show.
need.
Yeah, yeah. I get half price.
Yeah.
And Malcolm. So anyway, that's what I'm going to have. Going to be fun.
Some of us in radio land have a good head of hair because we haven't pulled it out yet.
Some of you are younger than my kids.
Yeah, okay. All right, kids. Round the table we go. Tom Reilly down at the end of the table. You're not at the kiddie table, but you're still here with us, so we appreciate you being here.
That's okay. I thought it was at the head of the table, not the end of the table.
I'm always at the head of the table. This is the head of the table. Oh,
keep pace.
There we go. Across from me, of course, Malcolm in the Morning from Thursday Mayhem, Malcolm Barrett Jr. Thank you for coming in.
And we got Ray Sigafus coming in.
On Thursday morning?
On Thursday morning.
Looking forward to that. Going to be a good
and
show.
Actually, I've asked Ray to comment on the election results.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of his regular Social Security, Medicare, budget, deficit. Yes.
But it's still interesting.
Yes.
Ray is always interesting. So
the election results could have an effect on those things.
It could.
It could. And we're going to get into that. And, of course, down the hall from me, a catty-cornered on the table, Dean of the Morning Coffee Group, that's Phil King. Thank you for joining us again, sir.
As always, more fun than a barrel of monkeys.
You and I are the oldest has-beens. We went on council at the same
year.
November 93.
Tom, I'm the youngest of the group as far as I was on later than you guys.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I haven't been dumb enough to get on council yet. So no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Since you don't live in a city, that's an easy thing for you to do.
I can deny it all day
long. Or not
long.
to do.
Now, if you'll notice, first of all, everybody got the memo and we're color coordinated. Malcolm and I are at one end of the table at red. Phil and Bob are blue. Down at the end is Tom, and kind of off-white. We'll call it. We'll call it what? Gray.
Sure.
Okay, that's good enough.
You don't know either.
It's kind of white.
He didn't get the memo, but that's good enough.
It's dull.
It's a light lavender.
Well, you can't have white on camera. It flashes.
All right. Enough of the jocularity. Back to serious
we haven't
business
even
here.
Started.
I know. Okay, back to serious business, and that is first of all local and state elections. I have been told by a few people in the know that this is perhaps one of the most contentious elections that they have seen so far locally and in the state. Would you agree? How do you think it's gone?
I don't think it's the worst one that I've ever seen, but I think it's just as bad as some of the others, particularly the role for the office of Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Has been probably the most vitriolic. Most of the guys, you can always tell when you got poor candidates. All they do is pick on the other candidates. They don't tell you what their worth is.
Mm. Okay. Any thoughts as to what we're looking?
I'm sick and tired of carpetbaggers coming in
Thank you
here
very much.
wanting to
Yeah.
run,
Yeah.
and I'm sick and tired of the absolutely despicable falsehoods and distortions that so much of the advertising encompasses.
Let me ask you this: if you're concerned about people coming in and running out of nowhere, carpetbagging, what would be a good minimum to stay in Yavapai County or the Prescott area to be able to run?
You were here
30 years.
You were here how? No, you were here how long when you ran?
Oh, I was a newcomer. I was only here 9 years.
Malcolm, microphone. Come on, microphone.
I was here only 9 years.
Yeah, I was
And
13.
I consider myself a newcomer
Yeah.
at 9.
At 9, yeah. I had been here 13, had been 7 years on a couple of city commissions, but had serious conversations about whether 13 years was too soon.
Okay, Tom, you were here for a long time, weren't you?
I was here for probably close to 20 years.
Yeah, I thought so.
But I've been, prior to getting on the council, one of the reasons I got appointed, I was on just about every doggone committee you can think of, including the strategic plan back in the early 90s, general plan committees,
I back up. I was on P&Z in the General Plan Committee before I ran for council.
Yeah.
But that's a good way to prove
and
your
Preservation
worth.
Commission.
Prove your medal.
Well, you learn how the
Streets
machine operates.
Correct.
A machine in the good sense of the word, not the Democrat vote for one sense
Well,
of the
Tom,
word.
you had a very insightful council that used very good judgment in appointing you to fill a vacancy.
Well, Mel,
And
just
two of them
give
sitting-
yourself a pat on the back, Mel. And you certainly don't need any
And Phil,
encouragement to
breaking
do
your
that.
arm here.
Yes.
How about you, Bob?
We moved here in 1980, and I ran for council in 2001.
Okay.
So
You were
21 years.
You were that nasty newcomer that moved in behind me.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
Encouraged
kids!
by the
I
guy
didn't.
at the end of
After
the table.
You
after
ruined,
what?
you ruined Phil's
3 months.
hunting area.
3 months after I moved in.
I didn't know we were dealing with neighborly issues here. I
Oh.
mean, it's neighborliness or it's socialism, as the governor of Minnesota said.
Bob used to watch me ride the horse down the street.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah. Long
Okay.
time ago.
Well, let's get down the races real quick. What has been, as far as you've seen, what's the most important race on the ballot today for the Prescott area or for Yavapai County?
Just Yavapai County?
If we're talking about folks who are living here,
Our representatives, a state senator and a state representatives.
Yeah, I would say.
I think it's more important for our county attorney.
I was going to say county attorney and then state
Critical.
senate. Those two are
state
absolutely
senate.
critical.
Yeah, but I mean, is that really a race between McCrane and Stringer?
Yeah, I think it is because, frankly, I've known Dennis McGreen for 20 years.
This is a
Super-
primary.
Super guy, but yeah.
Well,
it's
Stringer's part of that
but
whole
he's
group
not-
with
he's
Compton,
unknown.
Reeves,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's that
Compton,
whole
Reed,
cabal.
Rusine.
Rusing, well, the mayor, Rusing. And
That
There's-
whole
there's
that whole
supposed-
cabal.
so-
Yes.
There's this group apparently, but for Stringer to run for county attorney, that was an interesting thing. We heard rumors, and then finally it came true. So, let's start at that point. Do we see Stringer having a chance of winning?
No.
Okay, Phil?
Sure.
Phil.
Of course.
Well, he
Dennis
has a chance.
Mc-
He has a chance of winning.
Who's your pick, though?
But are you saying that he's going to win?
No, of course not.
Okay, Tom.
I don't think he has a snowball's chance in HE double hockey sticks.
Well, and
Thank
he,
you for
and
that.
He tried it already once and he lost. And he's going to lose again.
Okay, so that's our prediction.
Problem
for today.
being Dennis McGrane doesn't have the presence and the name ID.
Well,
that
he's not a
Sheila
camp-
Pope-
he's
that
not a
Sheila Pope
campaigner.
did.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. He's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
doing his job.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 4 for Dennis McGrane. I'll put it up there myself.
Okay.
State Senate, of course. I'm jumping over to the State Senate because that seems to be the most contentious race that we've been seeing right now for here locally. Does Ken Bennett pull it out and return to the Senate?
Yes, I think he does.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Oh, my Lord, I hope so.
All right, Bob.
Fincham is a carpetbagger, and I never vote for carpetbaggers ever.
Okay,
And
okay.
I say Ken Bennett pulls it out.
Okay.
And some of the advertising saying Ken Bennett's been in public office for 40 years,
years, yeah.
going back to his days on the city
City council.
Well, wait a minute. That would put him at 22 years old when he got into public office.
when he
That
got
I
didn't
think he
happen.
might have
He
been.
was
I think
a-
he was when he
24,
was
25
20
when he got
got
27.
on the city council.
when he got on city council.
I
Yeah,
thought he was
25. 26 when he got elected to city
Oh,
council.
Okay.
Okay. But that's still a long career.
And
of
then he
course-
was out of public office for 6 years
Yeah,
and then got back in.
right,
So
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
he's out for longer than that. when he
Yeah.
was running Bennett Oil.
So you're thinking that Fincham and Zipperman are going to split the vote opposition of Ken, and that would be enough to get Ken to win the primary?
Well, I think
That's
I think Ken's going to get the majority
Mhm.
than Zipperman and Fincham combined.
I don't think that Zipperman or Fincham are fooling anybody. They have their hard right wing, far right groupies that they hang around with, and they pat each other on the back and think they're going to win, and they say bad things about everybody. They don't tell anybody what they're going to do.
Well, how long has Fincham lived here? Anybody know?
He's
Yava-
never lived
In
here.
Yavapai
Well, he's
County?
supposed to be living here
He
now.
he registered for 3 different districts in a 60-day period.
Mhm.
He does not own property in Yavapai County. He still owns what he calls his ranch down in the East Valley. But he just shop districts. That's all he does. I don't think he's ever laid his head on a pillow in Yavapai County.
Okay. Well,
Why does Trump support him so?
He doesn't. That's a
vigorously?
2-year-old endorsement from his prior run 2 years ago.
Right.
Got Blake Masters and Hamaday doing the same thing down in their district. They're all running Trump endorsement ads from when Trump endorsed them for different positions 2 years ago. It's the most disingenuous, and if they think voters are that stupid,
well, we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're going to take a break here on the Mulligan Group on the News 1490. Back after this. And we're back here on the KYCA PM show. This is the Mulligan Group, the panel of all knowledge.
Tell us what you really think. Yeah.
We got to do that again. Okay, we're on the Mulligan Group here on KYCA, and remember, of course, folks, as everyone always understands, these are the opinions of themselves and only them, and not particularly the station, and
Absolutely.
that kind of thing. All right, so
Or,
just
or necessarily the opinion of the voters. That's why we have elections.
that's exactly it, and it's up to the voters. And the thing is, at the end of the day, you get one vote.
That's it.
And as Michael Berry has said, and it's a good challenge this year, how many other people did you pull in to vote?
Yeah.
Did you just get your one in, or did you help other people get registered? Did you help other people understand the issues?
Everybody I know is a voter.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
One
In
con-
Yavapai County. Yeah.
One concern I have is people splitting their ballots in November.
Yeah.
And of course, Yavapai County, let's assume, is going to vote for Trump. But if you don't send congressmen and senators on the same side of the aisle, a Democrat-controlled Congress will emasculate any Trump administration and make it totally, after the 4 impeachment hearings that they'll have.
Elections have consequences.
Yes, indeed they do.
Who said that?
A lot of folks.
Somebody did, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the county supervisors. And, of course, here locally, I think we can agree in District 5, Mary Mallory's pretty much probably got it.
She's
Absolutely.
my district. That's where I'm District 5, and I'm voting for Mary Mallory.
Okay.
But you got to say who you think will win.
Oh, I think Mary Mallory.
Okay.
There you
will
go.
win.
I agree.
Okay. I think that's a fairly easy pick there.
Yes.
Yeah. Tom?
Oh yeah, I would stick with Mary Mallory.
Okay.
Yeah, she's actually, as you get to know her, she's pretty impressive.
Oh, very
strong,
impressive.
Strong lady, and got her head on right. So.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. It's been fairly contentious in District 1, which is Prescott and South Yavapai. 4 candidates, Deb Pernice, David McNabb, Greg Mangarelli, and Brooks Compton. I have seen tons of Brooks Compton and Greg Mangarelli ads out there and placards and things like that. Any sense of how you think this is going to go?
Greg Mangarelli, he's the only positive campaigner out there.
Okay.
Well, I think Mangarelli will win it.
Okay. That's your thought
If
on
that's the question.
Yeah, that is the question right now. This is a prediction show, Phil.
Yeah.
But please tell us what you really think. Okay, Tom?
I think Greg's going to win.
I
You
do
think
too.
so? Okay. It's name recognition to a great extent.
Yes.
It is.
And although he did not win as mayor, it seems like he's had a positive influence around him. It feels like that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to District 4, which is Williamson Valley and North Yavapai. The race I was going to run at one point many, many, many years ago, and my political career lasted 3 seconds.
Good
And
man.
it was a lot of fun.
Well, that was a great story. You should tell that.
One of these days I will. But well, basically, I told J.P. Mulligan, I said, I've got an open seat because it was Carol Springer's district, and then they redistricted it down to 5. And she decided not to run, and so it was an open race. And we had just gotten the maps approved. And so I talked to J.P. Mulligan himself right here in this very room. And I said, J.P., I think I should run for office. I think I should run for supervisor. And he said, I think you'd make a great supervisor, Jason. I said, great. JP, how much are you donating to my campaign? He said, not one dime.
Yeah.
And my campaign was over.
It was against his own self-interest.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, JP.
He had a cheap employee. You can't go wrong.
All right.
Thank you very much, JP, for steering me in the right direction.
So let's go back to the candidates. then.
Okay, so District 4, which is Williamson Valley, we have Craig Brown and Chris Kuknio. Thoughts around the table?
Slam dunk. Craig Brown deserves another term.
Okay,
Agreed.
agreed.
Craig Brown's done such a fantastic job. We need him back there again.
Do you think he's going to win?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Bob?
I think Chris Kuknio has a real shot to do it, and I think maybe he'll pull it out. Chris Kuknio.
Okay.
Boom. We have a difference.
We have a difference. Okay, what's the bet? No, I'm kidding. We'll figure that out later, Malcolm. Don't even look at me like that. But okay, yeah, of the races, I mean, Chris is well known in the town, and Craig as well. And like you say, he's done a good job. And but
There's a huge anti-incumbent mood.
true.
Part of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's true. Okay, so that's our look at the supervisors right now. I think the state representatives, and again, this is just the primary. This is not the general. I think Selena and Kwong really don't have much competition there.
Slam dunk. Yeah.
So if we're looking at this and we're saying, okay, I would say Yavapai County is not going to be electing a Democrat to go down to the state house. We're going to have a Republican senator and 2 Republican representatives. What do you think, based on how we're seeing about the anti-establishment and all of that, and given the chaos of the year, do we have a split legislature going into next year?
No,
Yes.
it's going to be Democrat controlled.
By how much?
1 seat.
In each house?
Yeah.
I would consider that a split.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
probably
still a
pretty
split.
close.
Yeah.
That's still a split, but that is enough to get a lot of legislation through and on the governor's desk.
That Katie
Yeah.
will sign instead
She
of
will
veto.
sign anything the Democratic legislature proffers.
How many vetoes is she up to now? Does anybody know?
It was 156 last time I knew.
She's had
Yeah.
more vetoes than the last 2 governors combined.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, checks and balances, folks. At least
Cooperative government.
she's not trying to put term limits on the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Boy, do you want to open a can of worms? Just do a
wanna talk-
constitutional convention.
Want to talk about that? FDR tried it,
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
and you know who helped defeat FDR's court packing proposal? Henry Fountain Ashurst, Democrat senator of Arizona,
Wow.
stood up.
Those were back when
stood
there
up
were blue dog Democrats.
when there were
Yeah,
honest,
there were- yeah.
honest people, and he was quite something. Anyway,
I think
but
FD,
he
wonder if
stood up
people know
against FDR.
What blue dog
No,
what it meant or what it means.
By the way, do we need to go through the Democratic ballot for Yavapai County?
no, but you need to talk about it. Note
There are no contested races in the Democrat primary in Yavapai County.
Kind of like
Not-
president.
Not one.
however,
Jeez, really?
however,
Wow.
which unlike some years past, at least I see somebody in just about every race.
Yes.
There are some years that some races weren't even covered at all.
Yeah,
Right.
they didn't bother.
Yeah.
Well, there are some state legislative races that aren't contested. Both one on the Republican side, and I think 3 on the Democratic side.
Well, how many
Among-
races are there?
30. 30.
Well, that's
30
about all the
districts.
Democrats we have in Yavapai County, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay.
No, we got the official
Okay,
ballot
1
here.
point for Tom. I'm going to give him 2 points.
He gets at least
Yeah, you
10.
would.
And since Malcolm is giving him points, he gets an extra 10 for that. And Malcolm minus 10 for you. Okay, we got a break coming up here. If you're scoring at home, good luck. On the Mulligan Group here on KYCA, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. Stay with us. We've got more predictions, discussion about, I don't know, national politics and
The
what else is going on.
anointment?
The anointment, the coronation.
The coronation without not a convention vote. It's unanimous going in.
This is going to be the weirdest convention I think we've ever seen.
We haven't talked
It-
about
We
county
haven't talked
attorney
it
or
about,
the
depends.
we
sheriff
talked about
yet
senator.
either.
We
Well,
haven't
we
talked
got-
We
about
talked
senator
about-
and
We
Congress.
talked about county attorney. We didn't
Okay.
talk about sheriff.
All right, everybody, we got a break. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just got to ring the bell. We're out of here. We'll be back after this. And we're back here on the KYCA PM show. Yes, the Three Stooges theme shows you it's that time again. The Mulligan Group is back. I'm not Shemp. There we go. All right, now let's get back.
Certainly not Curly.
Never mind.
Don't start.
Thank you all for joining us today. And if you haven't shut us off yet, well, okay. All right, we got a request to go to Board of Supervisors District 2, Wiley Klein and James Gregory, and that is mostly a Verde district, I believe.
Yeah, and it comes over into the north end of Prescott Valley.
Okay.
Well, it comes over the north end of it also takes into account, I believe, part of Cortez Junction, Black Canyon
Yes.
City.
Oh,
and,
that's
and
right.
that whole area as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, part of Mayor.
And I don't really know these candidates. They're out of my area a little bit. Wiley Klein and James Gregory. James Gregory is the incumbent. Is that,
Yes.
is that
Yes,
right?
he's actually done quite a good job. I've enjoyed watching some of the things that he's done at a county level. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I think he's the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he will win.
I'm
James
like you.
Gregory.
I'm not familiar with them, but
Okay.
James Gregory,
I have to
I enjoyed listening to Wiley Klein speak at the forum that we actually co-moderated, but
Right.
I'm going to pick James Gregory.
Okay. Bob, you know?
I have to excuse myself. I do not know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a couple of good opinions here. So
well,
there
they
we
have
go.
different issues down there too. So.
There you go. And that's you wonder why we don't have Yavapai County 2 somewhere, on the other side of the mountain, but still. I mean,
Could happen.
It could happen.
It could
Yeah.
happen.
More
It's all-
Most of the
bureaucracy.
counties in northern Arizona used to be Yavapai County.
that's right. So, I mean, the mother county can give birth to another one at some point. You never know.
Well,
Okay.
look at all those mid-western counties where they're 10 miles on a side, and there's 100 and how many of them in
Yeah.
Illinois or
I know.
Indiana, well,
East of the-
Texas.
The little
East of the
county I'm
100th
from
meridian.
the little county I'm from had 20,000 people.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, same
the,
thing.
the county seat had 5,000 people.
There are
Okay, moving
counties
right
in
along.
Kansas
Moving along.
with 5,000
Moving right
people.
along.
Moving right along. Thank you, Tom, for bringing us back into play here. U.S. Senate, especially Kerry Lake and Mark Lamb. Any thoughts?
I think Kerry Lake's going to win.
Okay.
Probably it's going to be close, I think. They're both impressive. She's better on the stump than Lamb is. Lamb's more a stabler kind of presentation.
Rational.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Okay, then I would.
All right.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll go a little bit more rational. Who would I choose?
Yeah.
I would choose Mark Lamb. Who do I think is going to win? Probably Kerry Lake. It's going to be very, very close. This will be one of those things that goes right down to the wire.
Okay. Bob?
Kerry Lake.
And regardless, vote for the winner in November.
Correct.
I don't
Absolutely.
care what you think.
Correct. I wasn't going to go there, but I guess we can ask, is either one of them able to beat Gallegos?
No.
That's
That's a good
They-
question. And
that's the issue.
Every ad I've seen Gallegos run has been based on emotion.
Well, of course, and that's why that's how people vote.
And it's just almost insulting.
You know what I object to about him? His wife's an elected official as
The
well.
mayor of Phoenix.
Mayor of Phoenix.
That's right.
Oh.
That's
and
right.
families. What is it? The family business is getting elected to office.
Yeah.
Come
It
on.
is. Yeah.
All right. Very quickly, a school superintendent. Yavapai County School Superintendent. Basically, we're down to, let's see, Steve King and
Kara Woods.
Kara Woods. Thank you.
No relation.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, no, I
No.
think Steve's going to win.
You think so? Okay.
Yep.
Phil?
I honestly don't know. I don't know either of them
I
well
don't
enough
either. I
to.
don't.
Well, Steve
Tom?
got Tim's
Jim
endorsement.
Carter's endorsement.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
he did.
And
He
he's a
did.
retired superintendent from the Verde Valley side.
Yeah,
Ah,
but
that's
is that a good thing
He's had
or a bad thing?
experience. He's done it. If Tim Carter likes the guy, I think Tim Carter's up there at the top of the pyramid. So if he likes the guy, I'm listening to what Mr. Carter has to say.
Well, there you go.
I agree.
Okay.
Tim Carter's great.
All right. Yeah, we're going to miss him. We're going
Yes.
to miss him.
Yep.
I'm not going to miss his
He's done his time.
tests and his class. I can tell you that.
He's done his time.
That still gives me the heebie-jeebies after all these years. I can tell you that. I had him for civics. Mr. Carter, if you're listening. Ugh.
I wish they taught civics.
Yes, I know. This is when they were teaching civics.
Yes.
Yes. That's for sure.
It's like Cal Cortis.
I know. Oh,
You have him.
there we go.
He was my coach.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We got to run some ads, and we'll be back right after this on the Mulligan Group. back on the KYCA PM show. If I haven't looked at the camera too much, it's because I'm looking at everybody around here. So thanks for joining us here on the news.
Because we're so handsome.
That's right. We're radio
Oh
handsome.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're radio handsome. I got a face made for radio.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, very quickly, a couple more races that I've forgotten. I'm glad you guys reminded me. First of all, Sheriff, Dave Rhodes and Doug Eckenrod, I believe.
Dave Rhodes, just slam dunk.
I had Sheriff Rhodes in on the show a week ago, Monday. Very impressive. I was very impressed by him, and I don't say that often, but would hope he would win.
Okay, Tom? Your
David
thoughts?
Rhodes.
Yep.
Hands down.
Okay.
I know David, and I think he's terrific, and he's going to win.
Okay, there we go. Unanimous around the table. U.S. Representative Eli Crane and Jack Smith. Jack, who used to be a county supervisor here. Interesting race. Didn't expect him to jump in, and I think that was almost a last-minute thing.
Yeah.
But he's run pretty hard throughout the district, as I understand.
I love Jack, but I think Eli's going to win.
Okay.
I think Crane will win. I was surprised that somebody would contest it with the same platform.
Especially
as,
this late.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think
Why did he do that?
Jack
Anybody
Smith
know?
probably should have an office at some point in time. He's done a good job before, but I don't know why he jumped in on a congressional race when
No idea.
it's critical that we control the House of Representatives next year. And
Tom, you were saying you'd met Jack. You worked with him.
Yeah, Jack and I, when he was on the county board, and then also when he was, wasn't he also
Supervisor, the
council
USDA.
in PV?
I'm
No.
not sure. No, I don't think he was on
He
council.
ran right. He would jump straight into the
Okay, whatever.
the
Jack and I have worked
supervisor's
on a couple of projects together, and I think Jack is, he's very level-headed, and I think that he takes all the information in and makes his decision, and he does not make a decision in a vacuum. He listens to what other people have to say, both pro and con, and he comes up with a way to move forward. Okay. And I think he'd make an excellent representative. Eli Crane, I think he's in that. In my opinion, he is in that far right group of individuals whom I just can't get behind.
Okay.
I
But
like
who do you
Eli
think's
Crane.
going to win?
I don't know. I really don't have a feel for it, Malcolm.
I've never met Eli Crane, but I like him. And the other day when he was on the assassination, when he was out there looking,
Right.
he was talking about the water tower
Yeah.
and how I went to see President Bush up in Flagstaff in their big outdoor area out there. There's 2 water tank towers there, and when I was there, I was looking around. They had 2 snipers on both water tanks.
Sure.
And not to put somebody up on that water tank was just stupid. It's the first thing he saw.
Well,
when he
that
walked
wouldn't
out
have helped because they did not have a view of the roof where the shooter was from the water tank.
No, but
Well-
it shows they weren't covering the
Yeah,
range.
they were, but yeah,
Okay.
tells
so,
you everything.
So anyway, Jack Smith, Eli Crane.
Eli Crane.
Okay. I'm thinking Eli. It's hard to beat an incumbent. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yep.
And frankly, Tom and I kind of disagree on that. I like the idea of the Freedom Caucus in the Congress. I think it's important to have that side of the aisle
Again,
using
Speaker of the
about
House changed.
who you
Yeah.
support. It's
Got-
about
yeah,
who do you
did.
think will win.
That's
well,
true.
we all said the same thing there.
Right.
That's true.
Is Crane will probably win.
Okay, so basically, let's get down to brass tacks real fast. We've got a little bit of time before the last break, just a few minutes. It is going to be Lady Her Honor First Class Kamala Harris coronated as Democrat candidate without a single vote cast in her favor at either the 2020 election or 2024 at this point, for that matter, against President Donald Trump. Excuse me, I misspoke there.
Grover Cleveland redo.
Is Kamala enough of a threat to win in November? It doesn't matter who her VP is.
But we're talking about the primary this show.
I understand that, but I'm taking a look ahead because, let's face it, she is going to be the candidate.
Yes.
It's going to be Donald Trump.
Don't we owe our local races more coverage before we get to that?
Fine.
We've got 2 left.
You know what?
We
All
do.
right, go for it. What am I missing?
I can't remember. Who
Oh my gosh. Okay, folks.
We did David Rhodes. We already did that.
Yeah,
Yes.
we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to move on here and make a
Okay,
nice
okay.
transition.
Selena and Kwan.
We already
I think
did
we
that.
did that.
Yep.
We ran. Now you ran
Okay,
me out
we
of
ran.
time.
Okay.
We were sitting here.
Okay, now you got the last segment on all your own.
This group
Thank you.
this group several months ago, before all of the earthquake hit,
Yes.
we were sitting around here knowing who the candidates were going to be, Trump and Biden at the time, and we all agreed Biden would win the election in November. I don't think this changes that outcome a bit.
Well, do you guys remember?
Biden is going to win the election in November?
Harris will.
He means a
Have you
Democrat.
do you know that guy
The
named?
Democrat wins.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Lipman. Have you heard of him? He predicts,
Right.
and he's got 13 criteria he uses.
Yeah.
And he said he's still undecided, but right now it's leaning Harris.
Yeah.
And there's still like 3 issues out of the 13 that are
Wow.
undecided
Well,
yet.
she's got her VP.
And he's been right since he predicted Trump would win.
Yeah, she's got her VP
Well, you know,
pick coming,
Nostradamus predicted everything
which
that's
is
ever
gonna be-
happened in history, right?
which is going to be
Well,
real
I'm just
interesting
saying-
because
Okay.
because
Jason, you have
if
lost
she
control.
I have.
if she takes
okay.
Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, there's 19 electoral votes.
Yeah.
It's Mark
But
Kelly.
But
Well,
he's
you know-
wait a minute. But he's Jewish, so that's bad for her Muslim friends in Michigan and all of that.
Yeah.
If she takes the governor of Minnesota, who just yesterday came out and said one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness, but Mark Kelly just gave $15 million out of the Giffords Foundation, which is his anti-gun group, to the Harris campaign.
That's good.
$15 million for VP is pretty cheap,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess. I mean,
I-
Kamala
well,
Harris-
that'll be interesting
It's
if
great
she
in
does
giving
pick
other
him.
people's money away.
If she
Kamala-
actually picks him,
They're
we'll
fit
know
for
the
government.
price.
Kamala Harris has no core.
No.
She's a panderer, plain and simple. And anybody that thinks, I'm opposed to fracking. Well, somebody somewhere said we have to have fracking in our state. Oh, I love fracking. Fracking's the best
But you
thing
know,
ever.
she's never been to Europe either.
And she's never been to That's right.
Is
There's a
Poland
perfect
considered
example.
part of Europe? Wasn't she standing there with the president of Poland
She'll
as
make
she
an excuse
as
for
she
everything.
cackled? Did you look at the president of Poland's expression when she was cackling?
It was
All
like
right.
terrible.
Who is this?
all
But
right.
she's never been to Europe, so maybe that didn't happen.
The Democrat wins the election.
Okay, there you go. Since you ruined my segment,
Oh.
and Tom says I've lost control, I'm going to exert control now and say we had to take our last break here on KYCA. So there. And we'll be back after this. And we're back here on the KYCA PM show. If you're watching this debacle going on during the 4 o'clock show, don't forget, if your ballot is still laying on the seat next to you in the car, please go drop it off. Come on. You know, I mean, you got a couple hours left.
Go vote, get in line.
And get in line. Yes, you know what? Vote at one of the vote centers. Make it live.
I hear there's no wait.
Yeah, Charlie Arnold was very nice to come in and talk to us. He voted live. He always does.
Yeah.
And he said no waiting. He got right in. Everything was great at one of the vote centers. And it doesn't matter what precinct you're in. You can go to any
Go
one
to
of
any
them.
of them.
We loved going at 6 o'clock on voting on election day, my wife and I. And then we'd walk down to the restaurant after voting and have breakfast and watch the line start forming. It was great.
We miss the psychological advantage of standing in line at the polling booth with everybody else, and you realize what we don't realize now with mail-in voting. We're in charge.
Yep.
This is our day. We take the government in our hands, and we cast that vote. And we miss that psychology of being at the polls.
Except for the very senior citizen volunteer checking you in and looking for your registration. And saying, how do you spell that name? N-A-C-C what? Oh.
Well, you're the one who would always mess it up. I can tell you that. That's another 10 points off.
I used to take my kids voting with me every time.
And that's an important aspect
I
that we
do
miss,
too.
too.
Yeah, always took my kids with me.
Yeah.
It's important, and that is a big thing that is lost a generation now. I mean, you know, that a generation that's never seen a polling place.
Right.
Yeah,
and
they don't know
it's
what
the
it is.
importance of actually being in control that day, and I think we've lost that, and that's too bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Civics
Do you
again.
think there's less chance of voter fraud if everybody goes to the polls
No.
versus mailing in?
Worked
Well-
pretty good in 1960.
Yep, it does, and you get a 15% turnout. What is better, a greater turnout of uninformed voters or a lower turnout of informed voters?
Of course.
That's a good question. I
And
never
that-
thought of it. Yeah.
And the ones that go to the polls tend to be informed. I don't know how many people you get calling you saying, "Who should I vote for?" I have no idea.
Yeah, I get a few of those calls.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Well, look at all of us around the table, the naysayers here, who can look down the ballot and say, "Well, I'm not too sure about that one." Ourselves,
Yeah.
we're the ones who really get to know some of these people. You know.
No.
I was informed in all of them. I had no doubt.
Of course you were, Malcolm, and that's why you're here.
And that's another.
To show the rest of us up.
Minus
You may
20.
not agree with me, but I took the time to educate myself because I've always said I vote for the person that I feel is capable of making an informed decision. It's that simple.
That's what you
Being
should
being informed gives you 5 points. Telling everybody you're informed is 20 down. So you lose. You're done.
Well, it's back. It's back to voting on emotion, like
Yeah.
we were talking about, and
exactly.
do not do it. John Kennedy had nice hair.
Okay,
Yeah,
very quickly, we are
exactly.
down to
Didn't sweat.
basically to about 2 minutes here. The big question I have, and this is one I've been thinking about hard, I've been talking about it on the crisis. Number one, who's in charge in Washington right now, and are we going to make it to Election Day or Inauguration Day without getting involved in a major war because somebody's going to look and say there's a vacuum?
Now's our time.
Yeah,
Well, of course there's a vacuum. I mean, there's been a vacuum there for a while.
that's right.
You know, I mean, Biden has not had the intellectual capabilities of running the country.
No,
The
but
cognitive
staff is running.
Who's
capability.
pulling the strings?
Staff.
Susan Rice.
Well, and staff. Their staff are pulling the strings. The senior staff.
There you go.
I think there's a fairly decent chance that China may try to take over Taiwan during this period of time.
No, after the election.
Well, with the
But
with,
before Inauguration Day.
with the cooperation between Russia
Depends
and
on
China,
who wins.
could you see a coordinated effort to drive us into crisis? And by the way, there's our friend in North Korea who might take that advantage. as
And
well.
Israel just took down the head of Hezbollah in
Lebanon.
today.
I mean,
Is that
Got him.
like Colonel Sanders and chickens or what?
well,
That's the quote you've been dying to use. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Benjamin Netanyahu. Gays supporting Gaza are like chickens supporting Colonel Sanders. I never got
And
tired
useful
of hearing
idiots was another
that.
one.
And
Yeah.
they are useful idiots.
well, there you go. So basically, the problem I see is, and I know we've got 30 seconds, I know, is that the President of the United States is still Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
That's
That is the problem.
We lived
It's going
through
to boil down to
Wilson.
his cabinet.
Yeah, we did-
Woodrow Wilson, but it
We weren't on-
wasn't the same
crisis set and all of that.
Right.
And so, okay, that's the end of the hour. Stay tuned tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll have live coverage of results as they come in. Gentlemen, I say that loosely. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
1 month from now, we are back to talk about our predictions. Malcolm to lose some more points because they'll all be wrong on his side, and everyone else will be
We
celebrating.
only had one difference, and that
All
was
right.
Bob.
That's right.
Thanks, folks.
That's right.
Vote. We'll see you later.